Good. Okay, so we've got the baby. She's under the radiant warmer. So I'm gonna stimulate, make sure to dry her off, keep her warm. Come on, baby. Breathe for me. Oh, you're doing so good. I'm gonna clear out her mouth and her nose. Just a little. I'm just gonna keep stimulating baby to warm up. She's crying, moving around, doing really good. So then at 1 minute, I'm going to take out this cold blanket. And then I'm just gonna observe her for her Apgar score, so her color, her pulse, so I'm gonna listen to her heart and her lungs. Okay, her pulse is 130, so right within range. Her lungs sound good. She's moving around freely, so that is all good. Her coloring looks good. And then her respirators are also good. And she's at like 40 for that. So then after I've done the Apgar, I'm gonna give her an 8 just due to her color. She's just a little bit blue coming to life for us. And I'm going to get her weight. Take her over here to the scale. And she is 7'9". Good looking baby, all healthy. Bring her back over here to the warmer. And I'm going to measure her length. Which is 49 centimeters. I'm going to do slide this under her head and just measure her head circumference, which is 38. Come down and do it under her arms, around her nipple line. This tape is so fun. She's at 31, and then I'll do it again right here on the umbilicus, her abdomen, which is at 33. So, everything looks good. I'm going to put this band on her so we know that who her parents are, her room number, everything. And then at this point, her eyes are looking good, so I'm going to pull them down and administer the eye ointment. And then I'm going to do her vitamin K shot. Spread the hook good. And I'm going to give her half a mil of that. And make sure I clean her leg really good before I put it in the thigh. Let's give her that one. And then I put it in my sharps container right over there. Thank you. Okay, and then at this point, I'm going to do a full set of vitals on her. So I'm going to get her temperature. Which looks good. It should be between 36.5 to 37.5 for a baby. Put this hat on her. Put a diaper on just in case she decides to pee or poop on me. Okay, and she looks alright. So at this point, it's been about 5 minutes. I would redo the Apgar again. So I'm going to check her color, and it has improved. She's still a little bit blue, so I'd probably still take off one. She's still moving around freely. I'm going to listen to her heart and lungs. again. Make sure her pulse is good. Okay, her pulse and respirators are within range. I'm going to give her a 9 for this APGAR. So then at this point, wrap her up and give her to her mom for about an hour to initiate bonding, let them spend time with their baby. And then about an hour later, I'll come in and get her and do a full assessment on her. So I will start that right now. Just clean up a little bit. So I'm going to take baby. I'm going to take off her hat, and I'm just going to loosen this so I can check everything, but also just in case she poops. So for this, I'm going to start at her head, and I'm going to check her fontanelle, so her anterior and her posterior, just make sure they're not bulging or sunk in. And she feels okay, no signs of caput or the hematoma. Everything looks good there, and they didn't have to use vacuum or forceps or anything. So everything looks good for this baby. And I'm just gonna check her eyes with the light. Make sure that they are equal, round, reactive to light and accommodation. I'm gonna check her ears, make sure that they're in the right place and they're clear and no abnormalities or skin tags or anything like that. Then I'm gonna check her nose. We've cleaned it out good and it looks like it's patent, nothing wrong with that. I'm going to check her sucking reflex and also the palate in her mouth to make sure she'll be able to feed properly and no issues with that. And she is sucking on my finger, so we're good there. She is able to move her neck freely. And so she's good. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to listen to her heart for a full minute to make sure there's no murmurs or any abnormalities there. So listen for a full minute and also listen to her lungs again. Make sure that they are clear. Good. She's crying, so we have no worries there. I'm just gonna check her abdomen for any organ enlargement, any abnormalities. She seems to be okay. Her umbilicus has the 3 ports for everything looks good there. She looks okay, and then I'm gonna check her pulses right here. Make sure they are good, which they are, consistent with each other, and also right here in the leg. Okay, she's good. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna check the palm of her hands to make sure that it's within line of her gestational age and the palmar creases there, as well as on the feet. She looks really good. I'm going to count her fingers. She's got 5 fingers on each hand and 5 toes on each foot. I'm gonna check her reflexes. So she is grabbing my hand, really good. And then I'm gonna do the mono reflex, the startle, make sure she's alert and everything's okay. Also do it on her feet. Then I'll do the Babinski and her toes should fan out. Okay, now I'm going to come down here and just check her genitalia. Make sure her labia minora and majora are intact. Everything looks good here. Her anus is good. Everything is formed the way that it should, so no issues. And I've checked her femoral pulses. I'm just going to check and make sure her range of motion is good. She's moving freely. Check her tap refill in her feet and toes. Also in her abdomen and her hands. Everything looks good there. I'm going to note the first meconium and pee. Everything is okay. She has pooped a little bit, her parents said. So we'll just keep watching for that. So I can put this diaper back on her. Maybe. And I'm just gonna flip her over. I'm gonna check her spine to make sure that it's in line, that there's no issues. I'm gonna check for the stork bites, the Mongolian spots, and any others that I can see. And she looks to be okay. There was one spot just on this, on her leg up here. but she is a healthy, happy baby, doing okay. So I'm gonna do the full set of vital signs, like I said. And her heart rate needs to be between 130 to 160. Her respiratory should be 30 to 60. Oxygen should be above 90, which it was good earlier. And blood pressure is 65/40. And everything looks good. She is doing well. So we're gonna put this hat on her. We're just gonna wrap her up to keep her warm. And then we would give her back to her mom for her to breastfeed and initiate bonding.